This time in this video, we're going to try our hands at making a lemon mead. I know the lemon wine that I've made was pretty tasty. I want to see if the lemon mead is going to be just as good. Hi, I'm Charles and welcome to DIY Fermentation, your site for doing fermentation on a shoestring budget. Just as a reminder, if you like what you see here, please click on the like and subscribe buttons. I would appreciate it. Also, channel memberships are also available. Let's get on with the video. All right, to make our lemon mead, we are going to be using the following ingredients. We're going to be using about 5 or 6 lemons. Yeah, I've got 5 here, but we're only going to juice 2 of the lemons, and we're going to zest all 5. We're going to be using 3 pounds of raw clover honey. Because of the acidity, I'm going to be using Red Star Premier Blanc wine yeast because it's nice and strong and seems to have worked so far with most of my wines and meads. I'm going to be using a handful of raisins. We're going to use about 3 quarts of water. We need something to do primary fermentation in, whether it's going to be a jug, jar, demi-john, or carboy. We're going to need an airlock with stopper. We're going to need something to do secondary fermentation in, because after about a week or so of primary fermentation, we're going to transfer this for the long haul into secondary fermentation, and then every 6 or 8 weeks we'll do subsequent rackings into additional carboys. We need a hydrometer, and of course everything has been sanitized using Star Sans. Now, the first thing we need to do is that we need to zest all of these lemons. Now, you can use the zesting implement of choice in order to get the process done. I'm going to start out by using a knife. I'm just letting you know that there's going to be a fadeaway, and when I come back, all of these lemons are going to be zested. I'm not going to say which method I used. I'm just simply saying I'm going to start with the knife. Now, when zesting your lemons, you want to try and make sure that you get only the yellow zest and try not to get, in fact, let me do one real quick, and try not to, oh great, when I grabbed this, when it worked out okay. You want to try and leave as much of this white pith behind as possible. I mean, it's not going to kill you if you mess up and you incorporate some of the pith. I mean, little bits like that, that's like no big deal, so don't sweat it. But again, you just want to zest all of your lemons so that you can move on to the next step. So let me go ahead and get this started, and I'll be right back. Okay, the zesting is done. And as much as I would like to put this lemon zest into straining bags and use a wide mouth fermenter to be able to put everything into, my wide mouth fermenter is currently in use with some dark cherry mead that I made my last video. So I'm going to have to use a carboy, jug, demi-john, and everything is going to have to go through that hole there. Well, now if the zesting is done, I've taken the opportunity to go ahead and warm up our water and put our honey in some hot water so I can go ahead and warm those up before putting those into the carboy. Now, this is what I've got. And I think what I'm going to do, instead of using only 2 lemons, I think I'm going to use 3. I'm a lemon lover. I want to be able to taste that lemon flavor come really through the mead. So what I want to do now is go ahead and put our honey in. Now, I've already pre-loosened the lift and peel caps. On one, I just took it off completely because these things have a tendency not to work properly. And I find that when I'm doing these videos that spending a whole lot of time trying to peel the doggone things off can be just an issue. So we're going to go ahead and pour in our honey. If I can get this a little closer. And the same with that one shortly. I'm going to add in some of our water. I'm not going to fill it up completely, just get enough in there so I can actually dissolve our honey in the water. Again, this water was warmed up. We're in about halfway. And I want to put the cap back on. Tightly. And I want to just give this a shake. Which is a fairly quick process since everything was already kind of warmed up. Give it an extra good shake. All right. Go ahead and take my cap off. Now the next thing I want to do is, should it be the lemons, the lemon peel, or the raisins? I think I'm going to start with the lemons. Now again, you can use as many lemons as you actually like. Move this back a bit, so over to the side, over to the side, as you like. You can use them all if you want, but I'm going to start with 3 lemons this time around. Move my lemons up. All right, now your remaining lemons, you can go ahead if you want. You can freeze those until you're ready to use those for something else in cooking, which is what I'm going to do. And as far as these that I've just juiced are concerned, I'm going to go ahead and add that to our carboy. Let me grab a strainer first. Now I want to go ahead and add our lemon zest. Now again, I really wish my fermenter was available, but since it's not, and for those of you who might not have a wide mouth fermenter, this is what you'll end up doing. My hands have been cleaned, and I did make use of a little bit of star sands. I mean, some of the pieces are about yay long, and what I really want to do is try and break those up, at least to make them a little smaller, not to make them easier to get into the carboy, but after primary fermentation is done, I've got to get these things out of the carboy, which is why, again, I prefer using a wide mouth fermenter. But if you don't have one available, you just don't have one available. All right, take a handful of our raisins. I mean, we're not talking much, we're just talking about a small handful. And I could either just chuck them in the fermenter now. I'm just going to give these just a real quick rough chop. And I'm not trying to mince them up or anything. Just kind of break them up a little bit. And then go ahead and add those to our fermenter. Well, it does help if you can get them actually in the fermenter, but okay. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put the cap back on. Just give it a quick little shake, and B, I'm going to pour off just a little bit to a small bowl. Put it so you can see it. Pour it off into a small bowl. And the reason for that, since it is still a little bit warm, I'm going to go ahead and begin the process of blooming our yeast. I'm going to use a quarter of a teaspoon. And just give it a light little stir to start the process of hydrating that yeast. And we're going to let that bloom for a few minutes. And while we're waiting for it to do that, we might just as well put that aside. And let's start adding in some of the rest of our water. Okay. And let's take a hydrometer reading. Actually, before we do that, let's make sure we get a fairly accurate reading, except that little water we just put in. And let's just get a little bit of our soon-to-be musk to be. All right, it's riding pretty high. We are going to have a reading of, and the hydrometer numbers are coming in at 1.110. Looks like our yeast is just about ready, so we are going to give our sweetened lemon juice one more good shake. Try and get in that last little bit of oxygen. Helped out the yeast a little bit. We are then going to add our yeast back into the mixture. All right, I've added water up to the levels. Fits in there pretty good. One of the last things we need to do is that we need to label our creation. In this particular case, lemon mead, that we started on whatever date you want to start yours on. And it's always helpful to put your original starting gravity so you have an idea of just how much AVB your creation will come in at towards the end. Now all we need to do is every day for the next 3 to 5 days or so, go ahead and give it a good stir or a shake to incorporate a little bit of additional oxygen and to break up this mat of lemon zest that we've got growing on top, and transfer it into secondary and let it do fermentation for the long haul. Now again, if you like what you see here, please click on the subscribe button and like or dislike, depending on how you feel about it. I will appreciate it. Thank you very much.